welcome to Math is Easy Peasy channel for everyone who wants to learn mathematics easier. And my name is Rohmah Nurjanah from Mathematics Education Department, Faculty of Education and Teachers Training, University of Muhammadiyah, Professor Dr. Hamka. In this video, we're going to learn about annuity.
Annuity. Do any of you know the definition of annuity? What is annuity? Annuity is a series of payments with same period of time for each payment. Annuities can serve many purposes. Though the principal reason for investing in annuities is as a retirement tool. There are three kinds of annuities. First, ordinary annuity. Second is annuity due, and third is deferred annuity. First, we want to talk about ordinary annuity. An ordinary annuity is a series of equal payments made at the end of consecutive periods over a fixed length of time. There are two calculations of ordinary annuity. First, present value, and second is future value. This is the timeline of ordinary annuity. From this timeline, we know that the first payment of ordinary annuity is at the end of the first period. For example, we want to make installments monthly. Today is time 0 and the first payment of installments is at time 1 or at the end of the month. Next is present value of ordinary annuity. The present value of an annuity is current value of future payments from an annuity. So this is the formula for present value of ordinary annuity, where the PV is present value, A is payments of period, I is interest rate per period, N is number of periods. The example to find the present value of an ordinary annuity. And we have to substitute this information to this formula, so we get the present value of an ordinary annuity is like this. Next is payments of period. This is the formula of payments of period. So the example is like this. So we have to substitute this information to the formula. So we get A, or payment of period, is like this. Next is number of periods. The formula for finding number of periods is like this. So from the example, we know that the BB is 210 million Indonesian rupiah. A, or payments of period, is this, and interest rate is 18%, divided by 12 is 0.015. And then we have to substitute the information to the formula for finding number of periods. So we get number of periods is 120 months or 10 years. Next is interest rate. We can find the interest rate in two steps. First, find two values of BB, BB1 and BB2 that are greater and lower than the determined BB value by entering any value of I into the present value formula of Enmity. And second step is, after getting the interest rate that obtains the greater and lower PB, use the interpolation as follows, like this. So the example is, you know that the BB is 30 million Indonesia rupiah and A is this and number of periods is 12. So we have to entry any value of I. Like suppose I 19%, so we have to substitute I in this formula of BB. So we get the BB1. And because of the PV value with interest rate of 90% is lower than the determined PV, so decrease the interest rate. Like suppose I is 19%, so we have to substitute this interest rate to this formula of PV, so we get the PV2. And then last is use interpolation with substitute I1, I2, PV1, and PV2. So we get the interest rate is 1.55% of or 18.6% per annum. Okay, next is future value of ordinary annuity. The future value of an annuity is the value at the end of period of an annuity. So this is the formula to find the future value of ordinary annuity. So this is the example to find the future value. So we have to substitute this information to the formula. So we get F3 is 77,156,100 Indonesian rupiah. Next is payments of period. The formula of payments of period is like this. This is the example. So we have to substitute this information to this formula. So we get A is like this. Next is number of periods. This is the formula to find number of periods in ordinary annuities. So the example is like this. Information to the formula of n. So we get n is 11.94 or 12 months or 1 year. So to find the interest rate of future value in ordinary annuity, it's time with the formula to find interest rate of present value in ordinary annuity. Okay, next we are going to learn about annuity due. An annuity due is an annuity for which the payments are made at the beginning of the payments period. For example, we want to make installments monthly. Today is time zero and the first payment of installments is at time 02, which is today. or at the beginning of the month. So next is present value of annuity due. The formula of present value of annuity due is A times 1 minus 1 plus I to the negative n over I times 1 plus I. This is the example. So the solution is like this. Next is payments of period. The formula of payments of period is A is equal to PV times I over I plus 1 minus 1 plus I to the negative n plus 1. So this is the example. A is like this. Next is number of periods. Number of periods in annuity due is negative logarithm of 1 minus PV times R over times I over A divided by logarithm of 1 plus I. This is the example. This information to the formula of n, and we get number of period is 36 months or 3 years. Next is interest. To find the interest rate of annuity due, first find the values of BV that are greater and lower than the determined BV value by entering any value of I into the present value formula of annuity, and second step is we use the interpolation. This is the formula is same with the present value of ordinary annuity. Future value of annuity due. This is the timeline of future value of annuity due. We know that the payments of annuity due met at the beginning of each period. So the payment is starting from the time 0. So this is the first payment, second payment, third payment, and fourth payment, and this is the future value. So the formula for future value of annuity due is A times 1 plus I to the n negative 1 divided by I times 1 plus I. So this is the example, and we have to substitute this information to this formula. So we get the future value of annuity due. Next is to find the payments of period. We use this formula. So this is the example. So we have to substitute this information to the formula. So we get A is like this. Next is number of periods. The formula for number of periods is negative logarithm of 1 plus future value times I divided by I times 1 plus I over logarithm of 1 plus I. Okay, this is the example. So we have to substitute this information to this formula. So we get n is 60.001 or 61 times. Next, to find the interest rate of future value in annuity due, it's same with the formula of interest rate in present value.
These are the references
of annuities in this video.
Okay everyone, that's all my explanation about Enmity. I'm sorry for the mistakes that I had. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.